So my dad passed away in December, and I thought it'd be timely to talk about estate planning and some of the things I went through and prepared my parents for. One of the first things, I think estate planning starts with a will and a power of attorney. Will dictates where you want your assets to go. Power of attorney is really important for me. If you say you haven't passed away, you're still alive, but you don't have capacity, that's really important. Next up is to talk about beneficiaries. So if your spouse has just passed away, what you want to do is change the beneficiaries on your RSP and TFSA to be another person or wherever you want it to go. And so that would help with the estate planning process. And that leads to contingent beneficiaries. So contingent beneficiaries are where you can list a person, and if they predecease you, it would go to the contingent on there. And so that's great for, if you do have spouses that list each other on their RSPs, and then one of them, maybe has a stroke and they can't change their RSPs after their spouse passes away, having the contingent beneficiary is a great way to go. What I did before my dad passed away, actually a few years before he passed away, I started liquidating my parents' RIFs because there's two people to split the income with. And so the idea was to bring down their RIFs more than the minimum payment to get that money out of there and at a lower tax bracket versus one spouse passes away, it goes to the other spouse, and all the money has to come out of their tax bracket. So that's a theory, a strategy to look at doing is taking out more than the minimum from your RIF to help draw them down. Also along those lines, selling assets. So if you've got some properties and or stocks or whatever it is, you want to start liquidating some of those properties if you plan to while both spouses are alive. That allow you to split the income over 2 tax returns and keep the taxes paid to the least amount possible. I would also make a list of everything you have. So, the story of, the bank account that was forgotten. So list where all your bank accounts are. One strategy is to simplify things. I'm working with a few clients right now. They've got bank accounts in the States, in Canada, and we're shortening how many bank accounts they need. They've got their operating bank account, they've got their backup, and that's it. And so if you've got lots and lots of bank accounts, see if you can simplify some of that so that you have less things for your executor to deal with. I talk about what you'd like for your funeral arrangements. It's not a great topic, especially if you're near end of life, but make sure it's clear. I want to be cremated. I want to be buried. I want to have a celebration of life. What do you want for some of those things so that your loved ones are respecting your wishes? Because if not, they're probably going to do the most that they can because they want to honor your legacy. So that's something to talk about. The funeral home we used, they were great. They actually had a list of letters pre-printed for us that we could just send out to BC Hydro, to our gas company, our electrical company, a cell phone company, whatever it was, to say, hey, this person's deceased, here's a notarized copy of the death certificate, please remove them from the account. Or in the case of the last spouse passing away, like, hey, please close down this account. So if your funeral home doesn't do that, just make a list of things like, hey, where are assets that are joint and where should I be notifying them? Something to think about for estate planning too is your credit score. So it's not unheard of to have one spouse have everything in their name and the other spouse not to have any credit. So I'd be checking, what is your credit? And so do you need to build up your credit? Do you need to start putting stuff in your name, like some of the bills in your name, so that your credit's built up? And if your spouse passes away, you can get a credit card, you can qualify for some stuff. This is a new one that's come out the last few years, is digital assets. So, think Bitcoin, think your Facebook page, and who has the passwords for those? How do you get access to those? So I would be having them written down, maybe putting them in a safety deposit box so that somebody can access those and maybe shut down your Facebook page, liquidate your Bitcoin, get a hold of your digital assets. I hope that helps. There's a lot more to cover. I hope that helps. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I'm glad to be a resource. Have a great day.